Good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, we need to give a huge round of applause for Larry for joining us here and actually making our event even more special. So thank you for being here at Franchise India 2024. So I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if this event has one big Instagram moment, he's the one. So, you don't want to miss a selfie with him after this session. Larry has been playing 14 years of NBA professionally, and now he's, of course, a coach as well as now a business entrepreneur. He's now the founder of, besides his own academy, he's also the founder of the basketball training systems, which he's building up, through which he's helping a lot of young people in the nation, youth of the country, to actually be more sports friendly. So thank you for joining us here, Larry, in India.
Thanks.
This is a very special moment for India too, to have you here, and and we can actually get to hear you and learn from you about the various initiatives that you've been taking. So, would love to know about your own journey. You started playing basketball when you were really young, right in school, and then, of course, you played pro league basketball for so long, and then you went on to becoming a coach yourself for NBA, and then after that you started your own academy. So how did it all sort of work out for you? And the final sort of now what you're doing, and of course many more successes to you. But what you're doing in terms of academy, what got you started into it?
Well, thanks again for having me.
No, it's a pleasure for us. Thank you for joining.
This is my first time in India, and I couldn't be more excited, more pleased about the respect, the help, the smiles. It makes it matter for a guy from St. Louis, Missouri. And I want to introduce you to my basketball. And this basketball has allowed me to do these things. It's allowed me to take care of my family. It's allowed me to give back to the youth of the world. It's allowed me to travel the world. So I definitely want to let you guys be introduced to my friend, the basketball. It's been wonders for me. I appreciate it. So just basketball. I started playing basketball when I was 12 years old, organized, and my mom got me involved in basketball because she wanted me to stay out of trouble. And that's where it originated from. Get him with good coaches, get him in an environment where he can be successful and he can stay out of trouble. So basketball was an outlet for me. It allowed me to meet new friends, meet positive role models and my mentors and my coaches. It allowed me to learn a discipline of being on time, being held accountable. So basketball has really allowed me to move into my second journey, which is, promoting and being a businessman.
Sure.
It has allowed me to understand the amount of hard work, the amount of discipline that it takes to become successful. Allow me to listen to others, work within an environment of not being the best person in the room, not being the smartest person in the room. And I think that that's very important for anyone to be successful. And basketball has done that for me.
Absolutely. And what sort of got you keen on the basketball training systems, where you thought this could be a good investment for you and you sort of decided to put up more centers for basketball training systems?
Well, I'm a giver by nature. My mom raised me to always think about others. So as I gained all of my knowledge in basketball, I wanted to make sure that I gave that information back to the young people. And it not only supports the young people, but also their families. Because I know that, like my mom, she was looking for a safe place to allow her son to be, safe and to learn something new. So basketball training systems allows us to do that. It's best practices of skill development, working with young people, not only on the basketball space, but also giving them character advice, life skill information, how to fight through adversity, how to persevere through hard times, whether that be on or off the court. And our mission with basketball training systems is to build peak performers on and off the court. So yes, we're a basketball company, but we use those skills and those tools to really help and support kids and their families.
Sure. Overall sports infrastructure in India is seeing a big rise, particularly since the last maybe half a decade, there have been a lot of investments that have been parked in sports infrastructure. India's always felt the need. We always felt the need, but I think it's now really doing something very, very meaningful about it in terms of building that sports infrastructure that will produce more sports people to come forward and, to play pro sports and go to Olympics and so many other sports that are there. And we're actually producing a lot of good sports people now playing different kind of sports. So particularly, and US has always known to be, having great sports infrastructure. And particularly for NBA, we've seen it like basketball, like no other place has ever seen. So, I mean, can you give us a sense as to how a country should actually develop sports infrastructure as we go forward in India and put more investments into it? And what parallels can we draw from the US market that can help us better?
Yeah, I think first recognizing the need or the want, and obviously operating in a way of giving families and kids options to participate in multiple sports. I understand, and I've been watching the television. Cricket is on every time I watch television. But I think it's a factor of giving, because the world is becoming smaller with social media. They're able to, understand different brands and different sports and kind of have an aspiration to be like. So I think it's really heavy on the development and training and really starting at ground floor with the fundamental skill development. And I think that's where you create the energy. It's okay to go out and to play basketball and not necessarily know the rules or know the skill. But it's even more fun if you have developed a little bit of skill, understand the rules of the game, have the passion, and that allows you to create the passion. So what we're doing now is we understand that there's a need. Franchise India relayed that message to us that there is a need, that basketball is growing, and to have that option of sport is going to be huge going forward. So it's our job to understand that market and to really bring the fundamentals of basketball. And after you learn the fundamentals in the U.S., you really take that to the next level. Because once you understand how to play, you understand what you're doing and why you're making certain basketball moves, then you have more fun.
Right.
And creating a passion and creating fun for the game can take us a long way. Not only just in the NBA space or the WNBA space, but just from a function of having a good time, being able to be fit in a sport to run up and down. I think those are all major factors into why basketball can be successful here.
India's actually been a basketball, very pro basketball nation. We've got a lot of basketball teams, state basketball teams. So there's a huge sort of opportunity. So particularly from a sports franchising perspective, where do you see a big opportunity in India? And I mean, particularly for BTS, if you can, what are your plans for India? How are you looking to expand BTS in India?
I think going into the different areas, we're in an area licensing deal, and that's what we're really promoting. We'll promote, someone that has passion for the game, someone that understands the game, can come in and grab those licenses. And
Right.
if they choose to build out those licenses, then that's fine. But if they bring in others that are interested in basketball and we start to grow the different academies through the areas, I think that's how we can be most successful. There's small parts, there's bigger parts. So making sure that we are in the most influenced parts early on so we can really get that gravitational pull from what others are doing, from what others aspire to do. I think that'll be helpful for our brand moving forward.
Sure. And overall, I think, have you seen outside basketball also a lot of sports franchising increasing? I mean, not just in the US or India, but maybe, somewhere in the world where you're seeing great sports franchising happening and it helps sports?
I think you have outside opportunities, right? If there's a court that's there, then kids are going to gravitate. People are going to gravitate towards those courts. And then if they have a fundamental understanding of how to play that sport and to have fun, then you can start to fill those courts. And obviously, as you grow, you want to be more indoors, right? Where you can promote more kids coming in, you can promote more events, and then you have the access of having the sport all year round. And I think that's has been very effective in the U.S. is that basketball is no longer a seasonal sport. Basketball is literally 12 months out of the year, whether you're in competition or you're in training. So it's a huge part to have the facilities and the structure to promote indoor basketball.
So, as we were talking earlier, there is also a big opportunity for aggregation of infrastructure. There's so many courts in India also, I see, we have a lot of basketball facility. We have lots of other sports facility, which is lying vacant most of the time because, it might be part of a school or it might be part of a club, in which it is probably underperforming or not sweating enough. So do you think, one can just by sweating that infrastructure, one can create a far more better sporting infrastructure?
Yes, I do. I think so. It's kind of like a build up or a bubble up, right? If you have these either smaller infrastructures, smaller spaces, but you have the ability to create more of an elite sort of hub for your training. So anyone that's doing well in those smaller facilities, they're trained, they're being developed. They have the ability to now move into a more an advanced setting where you get to more of an elite training space. Those athletes that want to spend, their entire day, their entire time on the sport of basketball. So you really make it an academy feel. But those players have to come from somewhere, right? We have to get them out of the house, transition them to other sports, making basketball that space where they want to compete, they want to get better, they want to compete and chase their peers as well. And that's part of it. It's also not getting stuck with the space that you're in, but allowing the things that you see, the things that you experience to really mold your idea of how far you can take basketball and don't take anything for granted.
And at BTS, do you also look for entrepreneurs who can aggregate such facilities and, and take maybe a franchise of BTS, aggregate these facilities and create a bigger sort of penetration for BTS?
Yes, we're always looking to partnership. We want to go where the students are. We want to go where the players are. We want to go where the families are. So any event that there's a location that matches that bowl, then we're going there. But also with the idea of making sure that there is a elite facility for them to transition into from their local situation.
Right. And, while I know, of course, the whole sort of not just the money that is or the commerce that is involved, the whole feeling of actually being able to make a difference to the youth is usually enough for a lot of people to make us or take up a sports franchise. But on the hindsight, what kind of returns should one anticipate if one is taking a BTS franchise or any kind of sports franchise?
Yeah, well, there's obviously economic gain. I'm a retired NBA athlete that's done pretty well for myself. So I have the ability to start a business and not think of the financial implications of it. But once I started the business, I decided there was a business there to start to put business practices around skill development and training. So not only is there skill development and training and fundamental work, but we also offer our camps, which are summer camps, clinics that also happen, which could be a half-day clinic or a weekend clinic. And these are all different revenue streams that you can add into the business that really make it a success. Merchandising as well. So there's multiple avenues that you will open as a business owner. But I think that what's first and foremost, like you mentioned, is the joy of seeing young people succeed and then having them developed in a way that they're held accountable, there's discipline involved. And like I said, the NBA is that shining star, but being a great leader within your community, within your state, within your country are also the things that the Basketball Academy can provide. And there's no dollar amount that you can necessarily put to that, only that you're helping the whole system out.
Absolutely. I think, so, whatever initiatives that you can take in basketball or any other sport as a community level is always going to be fulfilling and going to give you a rewarding career. And particularly more so in India, because we're just starting out. We've honestly not done too much on that side. So there's a whole sort of big ground in sports opportunity that I feel is going to be one of the biggest trends in the time to come in terms of new investments. So, while we've heard about BTS, we'd love to know a little more about you. You played the sport for so long. So anything that you remember that sort of, or anything, that happened while you were playing the sport that sort of lived with you and you can give us as a message to all the youth here.
Yeah, I like to do things in three. So there's three sort of things that stand out now. And I mentioned my start getting into basketball with my mother taking me to the gym to participate in organized basketball, where we actually had coaches, we had uniforms, and we had referees and things of that nature. So that's my first experience. And to see guys leading the program and attached to myself to those guys as to being my mentors. That stands out because we can't do it alone, and we need those guides to help us, along the journey. And me being 12 years old, now I'm 45, I recognize that those guys, who my first couple coaches, were actually my guide to success. So that's my first journey to being successful, is getting with those guys, and learning what mentorship is. The second thing that stands out to me is I was drafted in 1998. I was 1 year out of college, and I had the opportunity to really support and take care of my family at that moment. I'm from a single parent home. My mother raised me and my younger brother. So at that moment, I was able to give back to her. I was able to, make sure that she had, all of the things that she sacrificed over the years and the years. So that's another point that stands out. And then from a basketball standpoint, I made it to the NBA Finals. I didn't get a chance to win a championship ring, but that's an experience that I can't change or wouldn't change for anything. Just the amount of hard work, dedication that goes into making it to that level of sport, and being, 4 games short of being a world champion is something that sticks with me forever and is a memory that I can share. Even though it wasn't a story of success at the end, it was a story of taking a journey and understanding like how hard it is to make it to that level. So those are the three key points that kind of stand out to me as I think back.
No, I think that's wonderful. And I think sometimes, we always think of winning. We are in the business world and it's cutting edge, as cutting edge as probably a quote. But, sometimes it's the journey that is more fascinating when you look back after 4 years or 5 years and what you learned from it and took away from it. Rather than just that one big win. So, Larry, it's been wonderful talking to you. And, because I'm a good moderator, while we are grossly over sort of struck our time, but I'm going to let you, because we have Larry here, I'm going to still let you take 2 questions with him. So, come on, raise of hands and just 2 questions. I'm not giving any more today.
Well,
Bhavna, you wanted one. So, why don't you just go ahead and start it?
no, I really wanted to. No, I have participated in sports when I was young, and I understand how sports can shape your overall personality. What are the key takeaways for a person when they participate in sport? I mean, you don't always have to participate in a big game. You can just play sports. So how do you think it will change a person when a person takes up sport?
Oh, I think it gives you confidence. It gives you, we have kids that come into our academy in the States that have trouble meeting friends. So we put them in an environment where it's safe. It's a place where they can kind of let their hair down a little bit and meet new people. But for the most part, I think, sports and being in the athletic space, it gives you so much confidence because of the work you have to put into yourself on a day-to-day basis to make yourself successful. That's a huge part of being involved in sport.
Well, with this, sir.
Excusez-moi. Yeah, Jasvi Vinay.
I'm sorry. Can you
I
be
had been a sports person in my college days and school days. College and school days. So I want to learn in basketball. One need to be as tall as you, or even I can play basketball at my.
Yeah, that's the misconception, right? Right, is that you don't have to be an extremely tall person to play basketball, but what you need is skills. So that's what we really focus on is your skill development, and that's really eliminates the fact of being tall. There's some advantages to being tall, but there's also some advantages to being shorter than tall. So no, that's not a disadvantage to being tall, and you can participate whether you're young and old at any height.
Because my experience in one of the tournaments, I put few 6-footed guys for scoring,
Yeah.
and we used to field those 2 6-footed guys for scoring, and we won the tournament, and we won the best tournament.
Yeah.
We were the number one.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. The small guys we put to push the guys, the opponents, push the guys, make falls. Don't allow them to score. But our tall guys, we used to feed the balls to the tall guys, and tall guys will just push the ball like this.
There's an advantage to being tall for sure.
That was our strategy to win the tournament.
There's an advantage to being tall.
Okay. For that, I think, Bhavna, I'm going to give this back to you. But please, a huge round of applause for Larry here. Thank you, Larry, again for being in India and joining us here today and talking about and sharing about BTS.
Oh, thank you for sure. Basketball training systems.